Welcome to the Flynn Brothers podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Jimmy. Today's big idea, Pop Culture Goodie Bag.
We randomly pick topics from a bag and debate them. Celebrities, movies, food, technology, trends.
It's a Pop Culture Goodie Bag, and it's all coming up. But first, here's the Solons. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's the best thing you ever got out of a goodie bag?
A kazoo, bubbles. I feel like you don't really get good stuff out of a goodie bag.
Little toy soldier with a parachute.
Yeah, those were awesome. I did like those guys.
But everyone loves a goodie bag, right? Everyone loves a goodie bag. And unlike a typical goodie bag, where, as you said, you don't get much good stuff out of it, this goodie bag, this Flynn Brothers Pop Culture Goodie Bag, you're going to get a lot of goodies out of it. For those watching on YouTube, I got a goodie bag here. It's got a snowman on it, which is a little inappropriate for when this episode will end in mid-February. We're a little past the Christmas season, although still in winter, so I think it applies.
Yeah,
right?
I believe the word you were looking for was anachronistic.
Anachronistic. I don't know if that's quite right. It has to do with being further out of time than just a couple of months, but perhaps you're right.
I thought it was right.
Well, hey, we're not debating semantics and linguistics. We're doing pop culture goodie bag, right? So you and I, we jotted down some topics. I did a good amount. You did maybe one or two. I think we got 5 total. I think I maybe did a little more of the work, but you still contributed. Which is very important. You had that big Bond 2-parter a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You've done your.
I didn't tell anybody that you did basically nothing on that.
I brought the sizzle to the steak, if you will.
Sure.
But here's how it's gonna go. Those who are watching get to see me stick my hand into the snowman, and I'll pick a topic out at random. And for those just listening on Spotify, Apple, whatever else, you're not missing too much.
Nope.
But it is worth if you have some extra time going on YouTube, you can watch me stick my hand into the snowman goodie bag, and we'll see what type of goodies we pull out here. So I can kind of hold it up to the mic.
Rustles.
People can hear me kind of rustling through the goodie bag, and I'll go ahead and pick our first topic. We're just kind of going off the cuff. We've done a little bit of prep, but we're just kind of going to fly, aren't we? We're just fly.
Letting it loose.
Speaking of anachronistic, this first topic is called Mr. January. Now, January historically is the worst month for new movies, right? Oscar season we know is sort of September to the end of the year, right? Kind of the last few months of the year, the good movies come out to try to get attention from the award voters and hopefully try to get some Golden Globes, Oscars, that sort of stuff. So January historically has been called Dumpuary. It's where all the studios kind of dump these movies that they think are turkeys or aren't going to do very well or aren't going to aim really for critical acclaim. They're rather unprestigious movies. It's usually a lot of like action movies, romance movies, schlocky comedy, just
horror.
Not very good generally, right? But anyway, recently we were driving around and I saw an advertisement for a new Jason Statham movie called Shelter. And I immediately saw it and I was kind of remembering, boy, Jason Statham, it feels like he's like every January he is in a new kind of schlocky action movie. Mm-hmm. And so as we were driving by, I started jokingly referring to him as Mr. January. Jason Statham, new action movie every January. He's Mr. January. And my question here is, who deserves to be called Mr. January? Is it Jason Statham? Which, by the way, before I get to the other contenders for Mr. January, it's like a Playboy Playgirl of the month, but it's for action hero stars. Mr. January, how old would you guess Jason Statham is?
50 on the dot.
58.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Wow. He looks great.
He looks great.
It's so hard for me to imagine Jason Statham getting face work, but he almost
I don't think so.
Must have. You can't be 58 and look the way that he does,
he's
can
ripped.
you?
He's in good shape.
Well, his face.
I don't know.
They're not pulling some of that skin back.
Who knows? Maybe
that stubbly skin he's got all over.
Maybe I'm naive. Who knows? But anyway, I want to talk about the other contenders for Mr. January. We have Statham. I have two other contenders. I have Liam Neeson, who is also often in an action movie in January. How old would you guess Liam Neeson is?
He's well into his 60s. He might be 70.
73.
Oh, my God.
And then our other contender, Gerard Butler. How old would you guess Gerard Butler is?
62?
Oh, a little younger, 56. You thought he was older than Statham. Huh?
He's kind of aging, I feel like, more. There's more to him. I feel like he's got there's a lot of life that you can see lived in the Gerard Butler performances.
But we mentioned all these different genres, comedy, romance. They don't make a lot of comedies anymore. The romance movies, I feel like, are mostly on streaming. A lot of these movies that come out now in theaters are kind of made for the big screen, right? They tend to be action or sometimes horror, but there aren't as many stars in horror as there are in action where you can really have a star vehicle. And I think these three guys are really the contenders. Statham, I think he had that movie, The Beekeeper. Right. He had Operation Fortune. Even if the movies aren't coming out in January, even if they come out in February or March, they're still January movies, right? Liam Neeson, I think Taken, the original one, came out in January. And then Gerard Butler, it seems like every movie Gerard Butler's been in the last 5 years has ended with the number 2, like it is a sequel, and you didn't even know the first one came out, like Den of Thieves, or there's some one of them was
Greenland
called Greenland or something. It was just like, I didn't know the first one came out. But who do you think of these three? Who do you screams Mr. January? Is it Gerard Butler, Liam Neeson, or Jason Statham?
I think of it as a championship title belt. I think that Liam Neeson held the belt for many a year, and Statham took it from him. And Butler's always been sort of sniffing around, but maybe hasn't quite gotten there yet.
So maybe Neeson was sort of 09 to 2017, 2018, 2019, maybe
whenever Taken started.
10-year reign. I think Taken's 09, and then so it's a 10-year reign, and then kind of right before COVID till now, Statham's had it, and Butler's always been kind of on the outside looking in.
Yeah. I mean, because what it really takes is you need to be somehow a movie star, but you don't really make good movies.
Right.
Like, that is kind of, and yet you still get people in the seats.
Yes,
like, they have a positive association with you.
And they still keep putting you in movies, right? It's such a delicate line you need to walk. The other reason I think Liam Neeson forfeits the Mr. January title, I don't even know if we could ever give it to him, because the man was Oscar Schindler, and then also he was terrific in The Naked Gun,
right?
Which was a huge summer smash. That was a
stunner.
Year. That was really incredible. Like, I mean, he was. So you're looking at Liam Neeson. It's like, okay, Naked Gun movie. I'll probably rewatch that most of the rest of my life. Taken, I've rewatched that a bunch of times. That's a great movie. Schindler's List, absolute masterpiece. Like, Neeson, you could keep naming movies. But yeah, I mean, I do think he maybe had the Mr. January belt. But you think Statham, he's king of the ring right now. He's Mr. January.
Yes. Well, his high quality movie years and performances aside, Liam Neeson for a while was just in pure action movie territory. He pivoted towards Mr. January. He sort of deigned to be Mr. January. Could he have done, more worthy projects? Perhaps. But, for a while there, he was fighting wolves out in the Alaskan wilderness.
Yeah. Another January movie, I believe. Yeah.
I think, so I think Statham, though, he's really just kind of right in his wheelhouse. He's always been sort of the best when it's a movie that's just built solely around him. You've got the Crank movie series, you've got the Transporter movie series, and these are movies that don't really have any other recognizable star in them, and that's what you need to be Mr. January. You need to be a solo one-man show who can carry a movie all on his own, and he's that guy.
Last thing before we move on. Jason Statham, great actor, movie star, or both?
He's a movie star. He's a movie star.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that he's ever really done too much like method acting or any sort of school of acting. He just sort of is a guy who feels right in movies, and coming from the Guy Ritchie school of fellas.
His on-screen persona is so watchable. Neeson, of course, both, we would say.
Yeah, I would say
Both,
that
right?
he's definitely turned in some great actor performances.
But is also a movie star.
Yes, I think it took a movie star and a great actor to pull off what he did in The Naked Gun, which if I had to say when I first saw the billboards for that, I would have guessed absolute stinker, and yet he knocked it out of the park.
It was terrific. Great one. Got to rewatch it. We only saw it the one time. All right, I'm reaching into the snowman for the next topic. Here we go. The next topic. Oh, yes, here's a good one. The title of this one is Foods That Aren't As Good As They Used to Be. This is a very simple one. Are the following foods worse, or did we just get older? And I'm going to rattle a few off and we'll discuss, okay? First one, Girl Scout cookies. Did they get worse, or did we just get older?
I feel like they've gotten worse. I can't necessarily put my finger on it. They felt better and more special when I was younger. I think that they've kind of maybe corporatized a bit, maybe cut a few corners here or there. I'm not sure that Girl Scout cookies are as tasty anymore.
I think, you said they used to be more special. There was this very defined point in the year, like a month or two, where you could get Girl Scout cookies. Now they got Girl Scout cookie ice cream. You can go to Albertsons or any grocery store, and they have like knockoff Samoas or knockoff Thin Mints. It's everywhere now. And the fact that it's so ubiquitous makes it less special, makes it less enjoyable. I do think the quality has gone down a little bit. I feel like when you bite into them, there's less substance. There's more air. You get that a lot with processed foods, where it's like you have you bite into like a Thin Mint. It's like there used to be more cookie. I'm like biting into a lot of air, I feel. Or the chocolate is not as thick and luscious as it used to be. It's like a thin little coating, But yeah, I do feel like Girl Scout cookies have gotten worse. The other thing too, in regards to it, being special or no longer special, I saw a sign posted in my neighborhood. It was like, go to this website or whatever. It's like a girl and her mom in the neighborhood selling Girl Scout cookies, and we'll deliver them to you. And I'm like, this isn't how it works. You're supposed to yell at me as I'm entering the grocery store, and then I guiltily give you a $10 bill, and then I wolf a few of them on the drive home. That you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, the idea is to leverage the, pluckiness of the Girl Scouts to be setting up a table outside of a school or a supermarket, and they are hard selling you with the pitch.
Yes.
It's like, hey, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? Which is such a great opening line, because it's like, yeah, of course. What am I, a monster?
Yes.
I'm not going to, this little girl, she's here. She's trying to get her first taste of the rush of consumerism and capitalism and making that sale. She's building good business skills, and hey, these cookies are kind of tasty. But I think it's your point. The scarcity is what made them special, and without the scarcity and with the shaving away, it feels like, of the quality, 10% less chocolate, let's pump 10% more in there. They're more air into the cookie. They're punching that into their corporate cookie making machine, way out and wherever. And I think, yes, it has lost a bit of its glow.
Do you have a favorite Girl Scout cookie?
I would say Thin Mint are the one that I can just pound. But if I want just like one or two, I like the Samoas.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of like the chocolate peanut butter ones too. Thin Mints, I like them from the freezer, by the way. I like putting them in the freezer.
Very
All right,
nice.
let's move on. Has this food gotten worse, or did we just get older? Chipotle.
I think it's a perfect high school food.
I agree. I think it was a we got older thing, because it tastes the exact same pretty much, doesn't it?
I
what
think
you
so.
remember?
Yeah, I think it's just something too where Chipotle, I think, used to give a little bit bigger portions. That's kind of what every, I think, burgeoning chain builds their reputation on. It's like, whoa, can you believe all this food I'm getting? Like Chipotle used to make just gigantic burritos. And it was perfect because they're everywhere. There's sort of a little taste of, they've got some different things going on. You get to customize it. It was a little bit fresh and new as a concept when we were younger. And now it's just become so widespread that there isn't very much special about it anymore. And again, if you live in California, I think there's just many better options for Mexican food that it's hard to really say, I want to go to Chipotle.
I think a thing that killed it for me too is living down in Los Angeles, and we just go to these taco stands that are like people from Mexico making the tacos and homemade tortillas, and it's just unbelievable, the like flavor of the al pastor and the seasoning and everything. And then you go to Chipotle, and it just comes across as very bland. It's sort of just like you're eating American food, and it's like, you know, Taco Bell is not Mexican food, right? It's Taco Bell. It's its own thing. And I think I sort of am starting to think that way about Chipotle. Like, it's not really, and it never really was like super authentic Mexican food, but it to me doesn't even read as even vaguely Mexican anymore. It just to me is like, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's like a WRAP, right?
Yeah.
Not a wrap on the business, but the product they make is like a turkey wrap, right?
Yeah.
Except it's burrito adjacent, right? It just to me does not even come across as Mexican food.
It's Mexican inspired, I'd say, and I think too it's one of those things where it's the best of bad options. Like
You're
if
right.
you're in an
It's a great
airport or you're in some city you've never heard of, and you're like, I gotta get a quick bite to eat. I don't really trust any of these places. Oh, there's a Chipotle. Thank God. Let me go there. I know what I'm
Yes.
getting, and it's a solid B+.
I'll also say the first bite of a huge burrito is always awesome at Chipotle. Just a big, fat, chunky burrito they give you. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're gonna leave full.
Is this food worse, or did we get older? Last one, Subway.
I think it got worse. Or maybe our standards have raised. I remember their big selling point when we were kids was the fresh baked bread. We've got fresh baked bread in here. And,
It's disgusting.
I-
Now, when you go in there and you smell it,
yes.
it's disgusting.
I don't know if it was always disgusting or if it became disgusting or just these Subways have been around so long that the scent of that bread is just soaked into everything, or that we've just I mean, Subway used to be eat fresh.
Yes,
That used to be the healthy option.
Yeah.
You would be a nut if you thought, hey, I'm really trying to cut back and eat healthy. I've been eating Subway.
Yeah.
No one would be like, oh, yeah, good for
Unbelievable.
you.
I think the meatballs got worse.
Yeah.
You always try and talk me into. They were for a while where we used to get the meatball sub and kind of like it, and then they started doing this thing where they put pepperoni on the meatball sub.
Yeah. Well, because they did turkey meatballs, which is
Right.
absolutely sacrilege, but it's like, hey, we put some pepperoni back in it. You know,
And
now you're talking.
every time we see the ad, you're like, I don't know. It's pretty cheap. Maybe the pepperoni kind of zhuzhes up the meatballs.
Yeah.
I'm like, buddy, come on. No, we can't do this.
No, I don't think it's right. I've got one that that sort of hit me.
Yeah.
Halloween candy. Did that get worse or did we get older?
Oh, golly. I think it's a little bit of both. I think the quality of chocolate has really gone down. When I eat Halloween candy now, it like burns my throat.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that from being a kid. I think that's just being older and having like GERD and acid reflux and just a more sensitive stomach. I gotta say though, like the ones I really like my top ones are probably Snickers, Reese's, and Twix. Those ones, like, I almost feel like I love more than ever. Whereas when I was a kid, I was an equal opportunity candy lover. I loved every single type of candy. Now it's like, I'm not going to waste my calories on that. Those are okay. Now I'm just a little more selective, but I do feel like I love it more than ever. The one thing I really notice now that I'm older, though, like in a Snickers, if you have like a rancid peanut or like a dirty, bad quality peanut, like that's something I noticed where I probably didn't notice it as a kid.
Yeah, I think in general I can't do the sort of highly processed sweets as much as I, once did as a child. Once you get a little bit older, you're just like, I can't just be eating 18 Twix. I can't, even if they're minis, I can't have them all. Yeah, it's just, you feel bad afterwards.
Oh.
I don't even really necessarily remember feeling bad as a kid after Halloween candy.
No. I mean, a little tummy ache, but you can
Right.
bounce back. Nowadays, you can't just hammer a bunch of candy at night and expect to wake up fresh as a daisy,
I guess that's preparing you for getting hung over as an adult.
Yeah,
You're just like, I had too much last
or a
night.
sugar
Yeah,
crash.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, more goodies after the break. All right, I got my snowman bag, and I am drawing a goodie. I'll get the rustling in the microphone there. All right, here we go. Next topic. This is the one you put in, buddy. It is titled, Should We Be Clapping More? Many people seem to find it cringe when people clap, like when a plane lands or a movie ends. But is it actually cringe? Or is this just internet bullshit, like wincing whenever you hear the word moist? What do you think?
I think that I am not somebody who claps when a airplane lands. I think we should start clapping at the end of an airplane flight because it's always so tense. There's always like that electricity in the air, and everyone's just like, I want to get off of this plane. I'm so tired of being around all these people. And you I feel like once the plane lands, you actually realize like I am in a 3x3x6 box, and I have been in this box that is my space as a passenger, and I just got to get out of it. But it is a miracle. Airline travel. Oh, yeah. It is just the unthinkable to our ancestors, and it's an incredible skill of a pilot to fly across the country with minimal disturbance and touch us down, and everyone's all safe and unharmed, and we should be grateful to this person. And as a final thing, I think it would be a unifying thing of all of us together. We all clap. We're all like, hey, we all made it, and then we can kind of be happy, and that can maybe dispel some of the tension before we all start elbowing each other to get off the plane.
For people who hate clapping on airplanes, I understand it from this perspective. 99.9% of planes that take off land safely, right? It's like you should have an expectation if you buy an airline ticket that you land. However, like you said, there is that tension. And yes, part of it is like how claustrophobic an airplane is. But part of it, too, is just like, especially on a landing, like people tense up. And it's just like, like it's getting pretty rough. We're dropping 20,000 feet very quickly, right? And so I like it as a unifying thing. I do like it as just sort of a cathartic, oh, we did it. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap. We're all alive. Because I think it is a phobia a lot of people have. To the people who get really pissed off when people clap when an airplane lands or a movie ends, I think that is just like a silly, trivial thing to get mad at. You can't really control what frustrates you, but I think that's something where it's like, do you really want to die on that battlefield? It's like, sometimes people clap for a movie and they really are effusive and really mean it, and it's like good for them. And I've even done that before. And then other times I'm just kind of like ho-hum clapping for a movie I wasn't super thrilled with.
Yeah, I've definitely been sort of dragged into clapping. It's rare I've felt the need to spontaneously burst into applause. For movies, I think it's different from the airplane because there's the pilot that's at the front of the plane, and he can hear the clapping. The director of the film is most likely not sitting in the audience with you. However, in Los Angeles, there's the argument that, there is a non-zero chance that somebody who worked on this movie is in the audience, and perhaps they would, appreciate some applause, but I don't know how much the best boy is getting out of, or the key grip is getting out of hearing you applaud, at the end. So that one I feel a little bit sillier about. And then this is the third example that I just thought of. Our mother has started doing this thing. She is a quirky lady and a big fan of the podcast, so you gotta give her a shout out. But she has started clapping after good meals and going into almost going into the kitchen, especially if it's an open kitchen, and she will clap very loudly and say, "Bravo, bravo." And it always takes the kitchen staff completely by surprise.
That scares the hell
out of them. Because I think what they think is, oh, here comes this lady and she's going to yell at us about the meal or something like that. Well, then they see our kind, sweet-hearted mother, huge smile on her face, clapping and nodding and saying bravo to them, and then almost always they really appreciate it.
It's true. They do really appreciate it, and they're often unseen being in the back of the kitchen. It's not like you have a lot of customers coming up to you saying, oh, that was so wonderful. Usually it's a waiter saying like, oh, they devoured it, or something like that. So as much as you, I, and our father will kind of rub our foreheads in embarrassment, it is certainly a nice thing to do, if a bit eccentric.
Yeah, it certainly makes more sense saying that the meal was great than it does to say it to the waiter.
Yeah.
Like the waiter, they're just They're just bringing it to you.
My compliments to the chef. You know, that's like on the plane to the stewardess. My compliments to the pilot. You know, the stewardess is like, I didn't know. It wasn't my, doing that got us here safely.
Yeah, she just takes it straight to the source.
Are there other jobs or people you think we should be clapping more for? It seems to be people who do us a service, right? A pilot gets us where we want to go. I mean, should we be doing it for Uber drivers? You're more likely to die in a car accident than a plane crash, right? Should we be doing it every time we get there safely with an Uber driver?
That is kind of funny if like two people in the back are applauding for a guy after. You know, maybe you would. Hey, awesome job, buddy. You give him a little hand of applause. I don't think an Uber driver would dislike it.
When you ran that red light, I did not think we were going to make it, but hey, we did. Clap, clap, clap.
You only slammed on the brakes 3 times. Fantastic work. I recently had a minor surgery on my hand, and I felt the surgeon did a pretty phenomenal job and did it very quickly. You know, it was on my hand, so clapping would have been difficult and probably not recommended by the surgeon. But I felt like clapping there. I feel like that's a pretty good
clapping, you have to be in the midst of a crowd, though. So if a plumber comes over and fixes your broken toilet that was flooding your house, it'd be insane if you just on your own, just you two in the house, clap for him. But you could give him a sincere thank you. You can give your surgeon a sincere thank you. I think that is definitely important. But yeah, I don't know too many other circumstances in which you could be in a crowd and someone has done the crowd a service. You know, we clap at church sometimes. You know, obviously we clap at any live show like a concert or a play, anything like that.
Right.
But it's very rare you're in a crowd, someone's done you all a service and you clap for them.
But yeah, that's the thing that I think is funny, and it's like, you know, we're reserving this for actors, this applause.
Pilots,
you know, pilots deserve it. Chefs, they deserve it. You know,
actors, you think less so than the pilots and chefs. You know,
you put yourself out there. You play dress up and make believe for an hour and a half. I guess
you're a professional liar. I gotcha. Well, very good. So you think a little more clapping and a little less condemnation of people who do clap.
Yes,
right?
I think expressing gratitude in general is something that not only makes you feel good, but makes the person who's receiving it feel good. Right. So,
let's get another goodie. That was a wonderful topic. I think we left no stone unturned there. We clapped every hand, so to speak. Okay, this next topic is called spammers and scammers. I have noticed that spam and scam texts have gotten weirdly specific in the last year or two. Here are a few recent examples. These are ones that either myself or my fiance have received lately. A text I received. What time should we leave to go to the mall?
Wow.
Another one. Why didn't you come to the barbecue party yesterday? You know how people are always calling it barbecue party and
barbecue party.
Spelling barbecue. And then the last one. Are you coming? We will go Sunday to play the golf. There's obviously a lot of these are written by people, you know, not native English speakers, right? My first question with these weirdly specific texts you get from these spam texters is, if these work, like if somehow somebody bites and goes for these, what is step 2? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, I know they have moved past this tact of like just texting random people, hey, right? They'll try to guess your name. They'll try to say something oddly specific to hope that it connects you. But I'm really curious. Like, if someone wrote to me, why didn't you come to the barbecue party yesterday? And I was supposed to go to a barbecue, and I don't notice that they said barbecue party and that's insane. And I respond, oh, sorry, I was sick. Like, what is step 2? What is step 2 in this grand scheme by these spammers and scammers?
I guess eventually to build up a familiarity with you and build up some sort of text-based relationship that eventually results in money. I don't, it's not my, wheelhouse. It seems like a very difficult way to squeeze a buck out of a person.
Getting to know them really, really well. Like, the best ones I've found, there's always a typo, so you can kind of catch it, but it's like, we have detected fraud from your bank, a fraud purchase, call this number, and then they are able to get your information if you call them, and then they pretend to be like the bank person or whatever. Bank person sounds like I know a lot about finance.
That is the one that I think is more effective. That one I can see, you get straight to the money. You're so concerned about these sort of, fees coming out of nowhere. And obviously your bank or whoever does contact you via text message. So it makes a little bit more sense to me.
Maybe these other people, they're just trying to practice their English.
Maybe, I'm just going to shotgun approach, text a bunch of random numbers. And what do you call it? A barbecue party? Actually, we just call it a barbecue.
You can even just say BBQ. That's really the good stuff.
That's the most normal thing to do, especially via text. Let me ask you this. If you were a text scammer or spammer, what is a technique you would use to try to rope in vulnerable, naive people into falling for your whatever, scam or spam?
Hostage.
You would say, I
have your kid.
Oh, God.
Do not bother to contact them. I have their phone. Maybe that would be my way of going. Just real aggressive.
Yeah, I think that's good. I've gotten the one where they'll text me like, "Hey, Brian, how was the hike?" And they're just kind of guessing that my name's Brian. And if you text that to 10,000 people, you'll probably get a Brian. I like the guessing of the name. I think you could try doing like the I'm the gorgeous woman you met the other night. You don't remember. You were drunk. You put my number in your phone. We had a great night. I'd love to see you again.
Ooh.
But I'm in Dubai. I need a plane ticket. But if you fly me out, I'll make your dreams come true. Boom, you get the money. You hustle over to Costco. You buy a bunch of gift cards. You're golden.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
What do you think of
AI,
that?
an image of yourself in Dubai.
Yeah.
The other one that I was thinking would be just like, hey, can you Venmo me for the other night? And you put your handle there. Maybe you might be able to get some,
I think you
some
could get,
that way.
I think you could get some
But
that way
then
as well.
you're leaving a digital paper trail, and maybe that gets you. Is there anything illegal about asking people randomly? Can you Venmo me for the other night? And you put your Venmo handle.
That is fraud. I think if you are not fraudulent in any way, like it's like, hey, can you Venmo me? And you just put your name, then that's not fraud. Because if you say the other night, that implies we've hung out before. That implies I've done you a service. If you just say, hey, can you Venmo me? And you do your handle, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm no lawyer. I'm no expert in fraud. But I think you'd probably be in the clear. I don't know. We got to talk to someone with some expertise.
Sounds good. Well, before we embark on that investment, that business opportunity, we'll run it by some lawyers, some legal minds.
Good call. I'm still fishing my hand around the goodie bag, even though there's only one topic left, just for ceremony's sake. This one is called Celebrity Heel Turn. This was inspired by John Cena, the famous WWE wrestler. He retired a couple of months ago, and a big part of his final run with WWE is he finally turned heel, a.k.a. a wrestling term for when a good guy, or babyface, becomes a bad guy, or heel. And this got me thinking, what would be the ultimate celebrity heel turn? And I began to wonder, would it be a purely good person with a huge approval rating, Breaking Bad, or would it be kind of someone in between who's sort of on the cusp of turning heel, and then they finally commit to the dark side? So I had a couple thoughts, and then I have kind of one really good one, I think. So one that occurred to me was everyone loves Zendaya. Everyone loves Zendaya, right? She's awesome. Can do no wrong. If Zendaya was somehow caught on tape saying disparaging things about fat people, like fat people are ugly, I think would be, whoa. Like people would start turning against, 2/3 of the country's obese. They would kind of turn against her, wouldn't they? Wouldn't that make her a heel?
Especially since she's so rail thin.
Yeah, it would just drive you crazy, wouldn't it? It would drive me a little crazy, I think.
Yeah, she'd definitely receive quite a bit of backlash for that one.
It's a sickness, and we got to cure it. If you caught her on a tape at the Met Gala saying that, hell would break loose, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Another one that occurred to me, everyone loves. Oh God, I'm spacing on his name. Who's the British narrator? Planet Earth.
David Attenborough.
David Attenborough. Everyone loves David Attenborough. Loves the Planet Earth. What if you learned David Attenborough for all these years had been a big game hunter? He had this secret room in his house with zebra heads and lion manes and tiger taxidermies and panda bear rugs and all this sort of stuff. You know?
Even the endangered too, huh?
Oh yeah. He's a terrible.
That'd be awful. That's
really quite a heel
turn,
isn't it?
Yes.
That's quite a heel turn.
Yeah.
But those are two purely good people kind of breaking bad. And I kind of wanted someone on the cusp. And the ultimate person I think on the cusp is Sydney Sweeney, because I think a lot of people like Sydney Sweeney. A lot of men obviously are attracted to her. I think, though, she has carved out a nice career for herself. But she has kind of done this thing where she's sort of styled herself almost like a Fox News anchor. And she's kind of, her family is allegedly like pretty Republican. And has she done some, kind of distasteful things. And she's kind of dipped her toe into the sort of MAGA waters. And I think the ultimate celebrity heel turn would be, this year, upcoming 4th of July, is the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And I think it could either occur here or at Donald Trump's birthday. It would be, sorry, really quick, did we go out or no? Okay, sorry. I think it would either occur here at the by and a half centennial or at Donald Trump's birthday. She channels Marilyn Monroe. She wears the Marilyn Monroe dress. And when she sang "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to Jack Kennedy, she does this to either Trump or America or both. And she just finally commits to the dark side. I think this would be the ultimate celebrity heel turn. And a sick part of me is very curious to see it happen.
I think she could do it for America without it being a heel turn, and that would be just sort of an awesome thing to happen on the 4th of July. If she did it to Trump, that would be a big time heel turn.
That's right.
I think we may be thinking about this all wrong. You're thinking of alienating this sort of bourgeoisie people who care about things that are good. The ultimate celebrity heel turn, which is basically turning your back on the way that you used to be.
Right.
And the one that I think people are secretly pining for would be Donald Trump getting up one day and being like, "Every single thing I've ever done has been a mistake. I am so sorry for everything I've ever done. It was a terrible decision. I was in over my head and it got way away from me." Like he just completely disavows
it was all wrong.
everything he's ever done. And it just says, "I was lying the whole time. I was lying. They got me." And I think that would be the ultimate, because, we're thinking of it as people that we like now. We're the Flynn Brothers pod. We don't typically get too political. No great fans of Donald Trump, to put it mildly. I think that would be, it would just completely upend American life as we know it.
It's a very interesting interpretation, because it would kind of make nobody happy, right? His supporters would be bummed out, and then all the people who've hated him all these years, it's like, okay, I feel slightly vindicated, but like we're still in this mess, right?
Yeah, you still, gave up your responsibility during a very critical period of American history.
The only issue I qualm with is the designation of Trump as a quote-unquote celebrity. He is so just far beyond whatever the hell celebrity supposedly indicates. But yeah, it's funny he was found himself embroiled in a couple of these heel turns, not so coincidentally.
I love the libs.
Sydney, thank you. Beautiful, beautiful rendition of Happy Birthday.
I think it's pretty remarkable that we've gone as many episodes as we did, and we never really did a Trump. And here
maybe once or twice we'd get a line in here. You got my Connery a couple of weeks ago, so that that's.
And you were the first one to that.
And no one's ever done it before or since, which is absolutely incredible. And I'm certainly the first white guy to ever do it. Certainly, no white guys have ever annoyed the entire world by doing it.
It would be funny if someone ever did how Sacha Baron Cohen did Borat?
Right.
what if somebody else,
did the Borat voice
Yeah.
like 20 years
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
movie came out? That'd be awesome.
pretty
Yeah, that'd
funny.
be awesome. That'd be really funny and cool. Every time you got a class reunion or hung out with buddies you
Yeah.
hadn't seen in a long time, you just annoy whoever the
I
hell
might
you're
try
with.
it. I might
That
try
might
it
be
sometime.
funny. That might be funny. Well, that was a good pop culture goodie bag, huh, buddy? Usually you get a goodie bag to go, but today it was the whole party, which is it's kind of special, isn't it?
That's a clever turn of phrase.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Let's close it out. Please subscribe, comment, and leave a rating. Send questions, comments, or big idea suggestions to our business email, flynnbrospod@gmail.com. Thank you to our producer, Will Slade, and we'll see you next time on the Flynn Brothers Podcast. Take care, buddy.
No, buddy, you take care.